So one angle or one triangle that's useful for us when we're trying to solve all the sides is when we only know a side, its included angle, and its other side. Now look, remember back and look at your notes for the law of sines. Do you have any of the three law of sines that will help us in this case to solve this equation? No, because any two ratios will have two unknowns in them and we can't solve that. So right now the law of sines are not useful. However, the law of cosines are useful, at least in this first step. So I wrote down the law of cosines, one in terms of A, one's in terms of B, and one in terms of C, but they're all very similar. So let's look at how this plays out. Let's like this side here. I want to find my side A. So the first step we want to do is use the law of cosines to find the third side. Typically a traditional first step. So to do that, let's work that out. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times the cosine of A. 0.5 is what I'm going to put in there. We don't have to figure out what the cosine of 60 is. If you remember, 60 is one of our key 16 angles that we've already kind of committed to memory or are useful to. So I already kind of know that. So let's solve that for A. And let's go ahead and just get the black box out and just work its way through on that one. 20 times 20 plus 30 times 30 minus 2 times 20 times 30 times 0.5. So A squared equals 700. A equals the square root of 700. So this side over here is the square root of 700. And I could figure that out if I wanted to know exactly precisely what that is. But right now, the square root of 700 will be a great placeholder as we continue on. So that was the first step that we did. Now from there, we can use the law of sines to be helpful because now I have 3 of the 4 unknowns. So if I remember the law of sines, one was A over the sine of A is equal to the ratio of B over the sine of its angle. I know these now. So square root of 700 over the sine of 60 equals B, which is 20, over the sine of B. Solve that for sine of B. Yes, we know sine of 60, that's one of our magic angles that we know, divided by square root of 700. Figure out what sine of B is. 20 times sine 60 divided by, oh, it's been a while since I used my square root function. There it is. Square root 700. Enter. Oops. Sine of B equals 0.647. Where are the angles for that to occur at? So I'm going to go ahead and take the inverse sine. And 41.41 degrees. I know that there's 2 places where the sine between 0 and 180 degrees equals 6.547. The other one where that also would occur at will be 180 degrees more, 180 degrees minus that. And that equals 139 degrees. So if it was 139 degrees, I know that 139 plus 60 already exceed my 180 degree limit for the sum of the interior angles. So I know in this particular case, that is not an appropriate angle solution for this particular triangle. So I know I have 41 degrees would be that angle. And then from there, I could add those two up and subtract them from 180. So 180 minus 60 minus 41 equals 79. So there you go. I was able to use the law of cosines to begin with to find the third side in a side angle side triangle. Then from there I was able to use the law of sines to figure out the rest of the remaining information that I needed.